probably seen us around before at Christ Church, but my name's Emma. I'm a junior at Hinsdale Central.
And I'm Victoria. I'm a junior at Downers Grove North. So last week we talked about how Jesus ascended and that he promised that this Holy Spirit was going to come and fill and lead this community of what is going to be known as Christians and Christianity. And now we're going to start talking about what that Christian community looked like then and how it looks like now.
So this week what we're talking about is how the very first Christian church was super devoted to the teachings of God and Jesus, and they were devoted to breaking bread, sharing meals together, praying, and service, which is super important and super cool because this happened thousands and thousands of years ago, and we still do it today.
And guess what, guys? We as a whole church do that too. We learn and we teach and we serve and we eat meals together, and so nothing's changed. We've just kept it going. So let's keep that tradition.
Let's go.
But also, like in a smaller group, me and Emma and our friends, we also love our church community. We hang out with each other. We talk to one another about like things that we're going through. And I think the biggest key factor is our entire friendship is the foundation of God. Like a lot of it is kind of like, okay, yes, you're going through this, but how is God trying to work with you or transform you, or like think of kind of like the bigger picture rather than the small, minute like fear that you have right now.
And it's super cool to be going through a hard time and then being able to talk to a friend and having them remind you like God's working through this and he's going to help you through this, and it's all happening for a reason. Also, a big part of our friendship is we all serve together. We do that by going on mission trips and even little things like hanging out with friends that don't have a lot of people to hang out with. And it's super cool to see each other, to see all of us serve together for God.
Yeah. We also made like this huge like group text message where anybody, if they want to be in it, can be in it, because I think a huge part of like the church community is to be inclusive and to not exclude other people, because if you exclude people, then you're not really truly living out the faith, because this faith journey is for all of us and it's not just for you. You want to help other people and like serve with other people, because that's kind of like is what is filled, like that's how the Holy Spirit kind of fills you and guides you, in my opinion.
Yes. And God doesn't want you to have, he wants you to have a couple good close friends, but he doesn't want you to be closed off to that. He wants you to be able to expand your community, and the best way to do that is just to keep adding people.
What would you say is the hardest thing about being a Christian, like in high school, and what and how do you feel like you best like live out your faith in like the walls of a high school? Like, what does it mean to be a Christian high schooler?
To be honest, it's hard to balance kind of your entire life with like, okay, like what you would call yourself is a Christian, right? And I think it's hard to like balance like school, grades, sports, or extracurriculars. And then also, even high schoolers struggle with this, figuring out like, okay, I have my church life and my school life. And a lot of times we try to keep that separate, when in reality, we should try to merge that together. And I think, honestly, you have to just kind of like be confident in yourself. And like, yes, I am a Christian high schooler, and that is who I want to be known as, because I think it's a good reputation. And I think your friends at your school, even if they're not with the same classify as like a Christian, if they're your friends, they're still going to support you with your faith, and then your Christian friends are obviously going to be there, and they're going to be like, yes, like, yay, Jesus, you know. So I think, yeah, be confident.
I've had times at school where I'm in a friend group where not a lot of people are Christians, and they don't really want to talk about God, and that's totally fine. But it is nice to have like a really solid group of friends at church that I can lean into and talk to them about God and ask them questions. Because ultimately, when it comes down to it, my relationship with them, which is Christ-centered, is a lot stronger than it is with my friends at school.
Yeah, and I think like also the church, like the community at Koinonia, a lot of these people are here to guide you and also keep you accountable, because you can't be afraid to hear advice from other people. Like if it's something you don't want to hear, but if it's something you need to hear, like you have to learn to be like, this is God telling me something that I need to change. Maybe if I'm hanging out with a toxic friend or getting into like a really bad relationship, kind of just like understanding that these people, especially here at Christ Church, are telling you things because Jesus is telling them to tell you this.
So I'm hearing that like having a Christian community has helped you, like what you're saying, Victoria, like it's easy to have like your home or school life and like your Christian faith life. Would you say that like having friends kind of in both boats like was helpful?
Yeah, and I think if I didn't give koinonia or even just like this Christian faith kind of thing even a go, and especially the people is what made me want to keep going the first time, because I was like, I love these people, I want to get to know them. And then faith kind of got tied in, and then it just kind of like all merged together. And so that's kind of like what's keeping me going. Like, I love the faith and I love the people, and so koinonia is kind of the place for me to be, because I feel like if I didn't make the effort to get to know these people or kind of understand who they are, I don't think I would have kept going.
Would have stopped at Cal
daily. Yeah.
Final question, what would you guys say, how would you define like a good friend as like, so like a good community, but even more specifically, how can you be, what does it look like to be like a good Christian friend to someone? Maybe how has the other done that to you, if that's more helpful to like think about.
Okay guys, so also last question is just kind of like, if you guys are kind of wondering how you can be a really good Christian friend, I have one right here and we can talk about it. Okay, well, this is Emma, and I think the most important thing for me with Emma is what, just kind of like, she tells me all these things like, this is what you need to do, and here's how God has worked in your life, and I'm always here kind of thing, which is obviously super important, but I also see it. Like, she's not just telling me all these things and then being a hypocrite and not doing like what she's telling me. So she is continuously acting in her faith journey, and like, I'm never gonna forget, she was like, she told me, she was like, I just can't hate anyone, because hate is such a strong word, and I was like, you're so right. And I think it's just like so cool, and like she always says God's got it, and it's just so apparent. And so it's like, I see it through her because she acts that way too, she doesn't just like talk the talk, she walks the walk.
And then also, Victoria is probably one of my best friends, which all started because she's just such a kind person overall. And kindness is something that I think a lot of people like don't really pay attention to, but it's super, super important in a friend, because you should have friends that are not only kind to you, but kind to everyone around you, because that just like, that really shows like shows that you are a Christian. And it helps people realize like, oh, like even without knowing, oh, she's probably a Christian, like I bet she follows God. And also Victoria is always there, like if I'm struggling with like any like super small thing or any super big thing, she's always there to like pray for me and remind me just like that God's there and he's like working through it. And it's also just been so cool to like kind of grow up with Victoria and like see her in middle school, like where her faith journey started and kind of like where it's gone.
Yeah.
Which is just super, super cool, because like I feel like a lot of times like you don't see it, but like it's just like there's just been such a change, and you can just see God working in your life. And
Same.
It's the coolest thing just to watch, like kind of just to sit back and like watch God like change your friends for the better.
It's really cool, especially just to like know that you were kind of part of it too, and like it's very cool, especially like start of high school to the end of high school. Like if you guys continuously put in the effort to get to know God and the people around you, like things change, and it's for the better, and also like it's just super cool.
It is.
And keep each other accountable.
Yes.
Because that's super important, because there will be times where you guys are just gonna completely go kind of like turn around, I think.
Yeah. Because
it's hard, it's very hard to balance, but when you have friends to keep you accountable, God's always gonna be there.
Yeah. It's very easy to turn around and just like, oh, I'm gonna take a break from church. But it's not so easy to do that when you have friends like, come back.
Come on!